Are you mature? Are you a senior citizen or a senior saint? Or are you perhaps like me, a junior senior citizen, which I'm 55 years old. And yes, I know I look younger than 55 years old. Please comment down below. I'm totally joking. But anyway, we're going to talk about when you go put your house on the market, what's changed, what to expect. A lot of you are reaching out to me saying, oh, honey, I've been living in my house for 27 years. So if you've been living in your house for more than several decades, this video is tailor-made just for you. Let's get into it. The number one thing you have to be aware of is that everything is electronic, okay? So when your realtor is going to send over a contract, they're going to tell you, oh, I'm going to send it to you electronically for your signatures. And you're going to say, whoa. I want to know the terms of the contract. I'm not comfortable with signing something electronic without seeing it first. So you can ask your agent to do a few things. You can ask them to print out the contract and meet with you to review the terms, which they're going to be super annoyed. But hey, this is your sale. You guys got to take the power back, okay? You need to know what you're signing. Or you're going to ask them to email, if you do have email. Some of you don't have email, so that would be kind of cool too, because they're going to have to print the document for you anyway, and then you're going to have to manually sign. But if you do have email, have them send over the PDF file. It's a file that you can open up on your computer and you can read, and you can expand the print so you can read it. Like, I'm serious about this. What I see happening is a lot of these listing agents will send over a document, meaning the listing agreement, and will say, okay, go sign the document. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go push this button. And then it's a signature button. And then as soon as you sign that one part of the contract, it immediately prompts you to go sign at the very bottom. You don't have time to really spend the time to read that contract. So it's important that you know what you're signing and don't get suckered into this digital signing thing, okay? You are in control and you only sign what you're comfortable signing. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. You heard it from Audra Lambert. So something else you're probably going to run into, which wasn't around 20 years ago, is what I call the lockbox agent, okay? These are agents that just put a lockbox on your house. They stick a key in there and they usually put it on the front door, which you're not going to let them put it on the front door for two reasons. Number one, it scratches your door or the doorknob. And the second thing, when people are, driving around, they see a lockbox on the door and like, hey, maybe the house is vacant, right? We don't want to draw attention to our lockbox. So if you are working with a lockbox realtor, put the lockbox on the side out of view so it doesn't ruin your door and doesn't draw attention to the bad guys. Now, my problem with lockbox realtors, which by the way, I do all private showings. Yes, I do. And the reason why I do private showings is because I want to keep an eye on the house. And if I can't be there, there are several members of my team that will show up to make sure somebody's present. Now, I've heard complaints from other realtors that, oh, the buyers don't like it when, the other listing agent's there. Okay, are you kidding? Like, why would you not want me there? Like, I'm charming. I know what's going on. I know how to step away. I know when to add value. I'm there to assist. I'm there to sell your home. What are you paying me to do if I'm not showing your home? I'm still baffled by that, right? But the other reason why I think it's a disservice when you're using a lockbox is because there could be potential issues on the house. Like, for example, what happens if a buyer or a buyer's agent comes to the property and they use the restroom and they stick too much toilet paper down the stupid toilet and it overflows, or they leave the refrigerator door open and it burns out the motor, or what happens if they come to the property and intentionally don't close the door all the way so that they can come back later to break in. I mean, there's a million reasons why it's a good idea to have your agent on the property showing your house. So not to put anybody down, but I was watching another video from another realtor or YouTuber out there, and her thing was that, oh, private showings are for old school type of realtors. I think she was referring to me. Yeah, it's called service, honey. But anyway, sorry, that wasn't very nice. But her whole point is that, oh, when a buyer wants to see a property, like, you got to make it ready immediately. And the best way to do that is to have the house on a lockbox because, if you're a really successful realtor, you're so busy all the time that you may not be able to schedule the time. And you're probably losing a lot of showings because the realtor, the busy one, can't get to the property and show it. Okay, seriously, I say that's a bunch of baloney, because here's the deal. If you truly are that successful and if you truly are that busy and you can't show the property at a moment's notice, then you don't have the proper staff to do it. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to, okay? In my opinion. However, there's a lot of cities and states that the agents have been taught to use Lockbox. And if you are a seller and you don't have any other options and you have realtors that are not willing to show the property in person, you just have to work with them. You need to come up with certain protocol. Hopefully you're living in the property and maybe you put your lockbox on the side of the house, you turn all the lights on, maybe they train you on how to make the house look beautiful. And then also make sure you have some cameras on your property so you can kind of watch what's going on. So you know if that toilet's gonna overflow or if there's anything that's missing, if you know what I mean. It's really important that you talk to your realtor about that. And if your house is vacant, then you also want to have a conversation with your realtor about checking on the property regularly, maybe at the end of the day. So if there are multiple showings, that those windows and those doors and the toilet's not overflowing and the refrigerator's not leaking. It's an important conversation. It's a totally different world. And it seems like the world is really grasping a hold of this lockbox. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. This is what a lockbox looks like. This is the realtors, we call this super box, where the realtor has access to this. They get a special key on their phone. I don't know how it works, but you hit this little button down here, the light flashes, the key comes out if you're given the proper code. This is sort of safe. This one's horrible. Don't ever put this on your property. Anybody can get access once they get the combo. It doesn't reset, okay? You guys know what this one looks like, okay? No. Heck no, do not put this on your property. Now, a lot of you don't have a choice. A lot of these realtors will only use Lockbox. Drives me crazy. But once again, if you're gonna use a Lockbox, just make sure you come up with some very clear rules of engagement with your realtor. You need to protect yourself. So the other thing that's changed in the last 20 years is that just the way realtors structure their teams, okay? We have these mega teams that have 40, 50, 60 members on a team, and they're pulling 100, 200, 300 transactions, and it's go, 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 go. And then we have like the niche specialized realtor team, which is, where I'm at, where we just have a very specialized group. We offer white glove service, it's concierge service. And then we have the other just solo realtor who's kind of doing the show himself, just solo. All these agents and all these teams could work perfectly for you. However, if you are older, you may need a little more hand-holding. The mega team may not be something you're comfortable with, right? They're all digitized. They're sending emails. It's probably not as personal. Now, I'm not saying that's true with every team. I'm just saying generally speaking, because if you're doing 100, 200, 300 transactions a year, like, that's Lockbox, that's a lot of DocuSign, and there's a lot of electronic signatures there. It's a hustle and bustle. More than likely, you're not talking to the same person every time you're picking up that phone to ask a question. It's a little less personalized. If you're working with more of a niche team, a little more hand-holding, you're going to probably pay a little bit more for that extra service, but it's going to be worth it for you because you're going to be taken care of. Not that you wouldn't be taken care of with a big team. It just makes you feel a little more comfortable. Now, the only downside to a solo agent, and there's some fantastic solo agents out there, so I don't want to put any of them down, but if they do get busy, if they have several listings, they may not be able to do those private showings or spend the time and attention. So when you are interviewing this solo agent, you need to ask them, how many properties do you currently have on the market? You want to make sure they're not too busy. So I think it's important if you are selling your home that you interview several agents. I won't keep pressing this, but I do have a referral manager on my team. Her name is Diana. I'll link down an email if you're interested in us referring you an agent to interview. We'd be happy to do that. It's really important that you find the right fit. I say you interview a couple agents, someone on a big team, someone that's on a niche team, someone that's solo, and see which one feels best, okay? I do have a list of interview questions that I will link down below that I would highly suggest that you ask these questions to any listing agent you're interviewing. Something else that's changed significantly in the last decade is that we have 1 million disclosures that sellers have to fill out. And I mean 1 million, okay? You're gonna be like, oh my gosh. So don't get overwhelmed. Just get out a piece of paper, get a pen, and start writing down things that you want to disclose on your property, such as, hey, these are the things that are non-permitted. These are the upgrades that we've done. These are the improvement. These are the fix-its that we've had. We've had a leak, but we corrected it. Okay, you write down everything you can think of on a piece of paper. And if you're fancy, you can get on a computer and start tapping away about the things that you want to disclose. And you're going to ask the question, well, should I disclose this or not? And the guidance I can give you is that if you were buying the house, would you want to know this? And if the answer is yes, then put it down. Is a buyer going to care that you did paint touch up 17 years ago? Probably not. Your agent can give you some guidance, but I see a lot of us senior saints out there getting overwhelmed with the disclosures. Just simplify it, right? Write your own disclosures and let your realtor help you fill out the fancy disclosures if you're a little unsure how to do it properly. But to protect yourself, take this matter in your own hands and just start creating your own disclosure list. It's really not that hard. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you've been living on your property for more than a decade, you have too much stuff. The other thing is all your stuff nobody wants, okay? I'm being cruel, but you guys, I've sold so many homes and I've seen this over and over again where these home sellers that have been on the property and have a lot of stuff think their grandkids and their own kids are gonna want this stuff. More than likely, they don't want it. You might wanna ask them because you need to remove it and you need to store it so that the house looks in show condition. A lot of you have these beautiful antiques. They're gorgeous, but some of them are a little heavy. And then what I've seen in some of these homes is that not only do they have a few really beautiful antiques, they have the whole room filled with heavy, dark antiques. So I would say moderation, okay? I'm not saying get rid of the antiques. I'm just saying if you're selling your house, you want to declutter, you want to take down, probably, I'll be conservative and say 40%, but it's probably more like 70%. You're going to be amazed at how much you collect over the years. Your kids probably don't want it. Get rid of it. And although that might be hard initially, you're going to feel so much better when everything's out and it's clean and it's organized. Trust me on it. Feels good, liberating. So the other thing is kind of a weird phenomenon that I'm realizing that I'm doing in my life too, as I get older, is as old people, we like potted plants. I just sold a house. I swear, there were over 50 pots on the property, outside, little tiny ones, big ones, succulents, daisies, they were everywhere. Because when we're older, we want to nurture. And it's cute and we like it and it's whimsical. But when you go to sell your house, it looks junky when we take the photos. It looks distracting. So if you have 50 or more pots with little plants in them, we want to find better homes for them temporarily. I know, I don't know what it is, but we love our plants. I'm not saying get rid of all of them, but we don't need 50. You guys with me on that? So I got a lot of calls from you, ironically, this week. And a lot of you have said,
Audra, listen, my house is so dated, like I don't have a lot of upgrades. I'm older. I don't know if I should hire a designer. I don't know what I'm doing. The market's kind of slowing. Like, what should I do?
Okay, if you are in that situation, it's overwhelming having people in your house and doing all these upgrades. So what I would suggest is you price your house based on the condition and try to address as many deferred maintenance items as possible. So if you have a leaking toilet, fix it. If you have a leaking roof, fix it. If you have a broken window, fix it. Like, things need to work on your property. So I would just focus on turning over a very good property in good condition. I wouldn't worry that it's not being, highlighted in Pinterest as the most beautiful decorated home in the century. That's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is maximize the value. So the best way to do that is to make sure things are functioning properly and just give it a good old scrub down and declutter. In my opinion, that's the best way to move forward. Because once you start remodeling, where do you stop? And that's the problem, right? Let the new buyer take it on. But if the buyer looks at the property and realizes, wow, the air conditioning is in good shape, the heater and the furnace are in good shape, really all I have to do is cosmetic stuff, which is what I'm going to suggest that you do, meaning as little as possible. So a lot of you are downsizing. You're selling your home and you want a single level residence. I do too. And so does the rest of the world. Everybody loves single story residences. However, if you live in an area like I do, I live in California, where land is really scarce, a lot of these single story residences go for a premium because the footprint of the house is so much larger, okay? It takes up more land. So oftentimes these single story residences will go for significantly higher than a house that's a 2-story with more square footage, at least in my area. So if you are selling your home and this is your plan to sell your mansion and downsize into a single level residence, just make sure you know the costs associated with that. Go do your research. You might have to move to a different state, a different county, a new zip code, but do your research. And if you are selling your house, make sure you ask your listing agent to get you a net sheet on your home. This will show, okay, if I'm selling my house at $500,000, this is how much I'm going to net. And I would ask your listing agent to give you several different pricing net sheets. So for example, if you're selling your house at 500, maybe you get a net sheet at 500, 400, and 450, just so you have a gauge of how much you're going to be taking home once you sell your home. It's good to know. It helps you plan for the next transition. All right, this last one is really important, and you are vulnerable. Everyone's vulnerable, but especially us older people because we're so trusting, and that is wire fraud. So if you are wiring money in to purchase a home, or if you're asking the company to wire money back to you once you've closed your house, you're going to confirm the wire number, okay? You're going to make the phone call. Okay, I've heard horror stories where hackers will hack into a title or escrow company or even a brokerage house and send out wire transfer confirmation to the buyer or the seller. It looks legit, but it's not. So when you get any type of wire transfer that's emailed to you or texted to you, you're going to pick up that phone, make sure you're contacting the right people, and have them confirm to you verbally what the wire number is. You're not the one confirming it, they're the one repeating it back to you. This is a huge, huge issue in our industry right now. Please do not fall prey to this scam. It's awful. And a lot of people are being taken advantage of. It's just very troubling. Okay, if you're selling your house and you're signing a listing agreement, you will notice there's no longer any buyer agent commission that the seller has to agree to. It's not in the contract anymore. So when you are sitting down with your listing agent, you're just going to talk to them about, how much am I going to pay you? That's it. So what happens now is when the buyer presents an offer to you, in that offer, they more than likely, they don't have to, more than likely, they will ask for the seller to cover a portion or to cover the entire buyer agent commission for them. You can agree, you can disagree. All I'm saying and what I'm recommending on camera right here is that you be open to all offers. Get a net sheet, see what that looks like. Super important that you understand you are not ever talking to your listing agent about what you're agreeing to pay the buyer's agent. You have that conversation when the offer is being presented to you. Okay, folks, that was fun. A lot's changed here in the last couple of decades. I hope that was helpful. And of course, if you got any benefit out of this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.